A family's emotional journey through the challenges of their teenage son's rare disease is the focus of a new documentary. Clinton Moore chronicles much of his son's struggles with cystinosis, a rare genetic disease, in an effort to bring more awareness, research, and hopefully one day a cure. Clinton is also the head of the advocacy group known as the Cystinosis Research Network and is joining us now. And Clinton, thank you so much for being here today. Let's jump right in. Can you describe how your family struggles with your son's cystinosis diagnosis are depicted in this new documentary?
Sure. The documentary Walk in My Shoes really gives a deep dive into all of the struggles that we've had from his birth until his current state. But a lot of the struggles have been anywhere from financial to marital to just overall, depressed feelings at times. When you're given a diagnosis like this, you really don't know how to manage it at first. And everybody, I think, goes through those feelings of anger and blame and things like that. But eventually, you find a way to work together and focus on what's really important.
Why did you decide to create the documentary, and what are the key takeaways you want people to understand about the disease?
I wanted to create it to do several things. One was to raise awareness of cystinosis. Two was to hopefully raise awareness of all rare diseases. Rare diseases are only really recognized one day a year, and that's the last day of February during Rare Disease Week. But the rest of the year, they're really forgotten about. And hopefully the viewing audience will see exactly what we do go through on a day-to-day, both medically and non-medically, but also to learn that a lesson that I learned kind of the hard way was that you, even as one individual, you have the ability to make a big difference in this world, whether it be in someone's life or with some other matter. But you don't need an army of 1,000 people marching behind you. It took me 8 years to kind of learn that lesson. I sat around and did nothing for the longest time when I could have been doing what I'm doing now. But hopefully the audience finds it, not so much of a sad story, but more of an inspirational story.
And how has the disease impacted your son, his life, and also the lives of your family?
It's impacted us in many ways. I mean, I think we're stronger today than we were 15 years ago when we got the diagnosis. My son has really been the one that's dealt with all of the surgeries and the medications and the doctor visits. So it's affected us in probably every way imaginable. But I think what's really important is that the outcome we found a way to successfully pull together and manage it all in a seemingly quiet way, as you'll see if you watch the film. But my son does the same thing. He deals with everything, but he just puts it in his pocket and goes on.
And what are some of the actions and activities you've been involved in to bring more awareness to cystinosis?
Other than the Walk in My Shoes documentary, I'm also heavily involved in the Cystinosis Research Network, which is an advocacy group created specifically for cystinosis patients and caregivers. But I also, every year, I do a nonstop 57-mile walk to also raise awareness and funds for the network. The walk is designed in a way to sort of mimic the life of a cystinosis or rare disease patient. It's very monotonous, it's very repetitive, similar to the life of taking meds at certain times every single day, throughout the year. So the walk is very challenging, but so are rare diseases, and rare diseases don't stop, and that's a big reason why the walk is nonstop. Once we start walking, we don't stop walking or sit down until we reach that 57-mile marker.
What do you hope the public learns from sharing your family's story?
That rare diseases are forgotten about, and I don't think they should be. Cystinosis only affects 2,500 people in the world, and only 500 of them are in the U.S. But when you talk about rare diseases as a whole, it affects 1 out of every 10 people roughly. So in that aspect, they're not really all that rare. And there's a really good chance that everybody watching this knows somebody with a rare disease. and hopefully everybody's is inspired, and anything else that you want to learn about cystinosis, please go to cystinosis.org, and watch this documentary. It'll really give you an in-depth look at just what rare disease patients and families go through.
Well, thank you so much for being here today and bringing awareness to cystinosis. To find out more about that rare disease and to navigate towards the Moores documentary, head online to CIProud.com. Until then, CI News Day continues after this.